many of y'all may read, I've been through a lot of obstacles throughout my life. From being shot in college to having a liver condition, for an organization to take me under their wing and bring me here and look at me as a true part of this team means a lot.
Evening, everybody. Welcome to Drake Night. Welcome to a special night because the Cleveland Cavaliers are in town.
I think it's great. I think all the fans are out here having fun for the Raptors just to be home. And then you have this kind of party going on. I think it's fantastic.
Toronto Raptors, of course, will wear their OVO-inspired uniforms tonight. We were just talking with Drake, who's here with his mother. First time that she's sitting courtside, which is great, but it's a lot of fun, and the fans absolutely love an evening like tonight.
Well, it is. It's a celebration of Toronto, a young man from Toronto that made it big, and it's all tied in with the Raptors as well, with the excitement of a big game tonight against the Cleveland Cavaliers. So it should be great.
The Raptors are a young team. They play with a lot of heart, and they're cool guys on their own. I think what we do is just give this city, another chance to be unified, to come together, to feel all a part of something. When you put T-shirts on everybody's chairs and give everybody headbands, it just makes everybody feel like one team. And I think that's the concept with the Raptors. We're one city, one team. We're the only team over on this end on this side of things. So it's just something to be proud of. It's a night to be proud of Toronto, proud to be Canadian. All those things wrapped into one makes for an amazing evening.
Up top, here's DeRozan. DeRozan in the lane. Up top, Lowry up fake, driving. Kick out, DeRozan, clock down, bucket, and bucket. Lowry the three, got it from downtown. A 9-0 run. Kyle driving underneath, slips, Biyombo with it, goes up, foul. Wow, Biyombo, and look at Lowry's reaction.
There's got to be over 60-something games left or whatever it is. So we got a long ways to go. But I'm excited just about even the energy in the city, the energy within the guys from me talking to them. It's going to be a great year. So we just got to get back to the playoff spot and get out of the first round and get out of the second round and see how far we can go.
The Toronto Raptors are going to come away with this victory here on this Wednesday night, and Toronto earns their 10th victory in their 5th home game of the season. After being swept by the Washington Wizards in the playoffs, Masai Ujiri brought in DeMarre Carroll during this past offseason, as well as Corey Joseph. Tonight, the Toronto Raptors are in Washington to take on the Wizards. Here we go, Leo. Here we go. 3 seconds left. They're going to advance it, and here's the opportunity for the Raptors.
That was the play, and I see my guy fully commit to DeMarre, and I know he was. And I looked at DeMarre's eyes. I seen he was looking at me. He was going to pass, so I just had to get ready to shoot. It was a great pass, on time, on target, and just up to me now whether I knocked it down or not.
Joseph in the corner for the win. Got it! Corey Joseph in the corner for the win.
The ball goes in, and I hesitated for a second. just see, if it really did go in or if I'm imagining things. And next thing I know, I see Corey jumping up and down. I see Luis Scola with his hands screaming up in the air. I see Corey and Kalo jumping to each other, and I just start screaming and running on the court and just start screaming, Kojo.
You make a big shot like that, it's just, it's great to see all the excitement in your, in your teammates' eyes and, faces or whatnot. I think Scola might have choked me. It was crazy, so it's always great. Now we just got to focus on the moment.
Yeah, that's all. Hell yeah. Hey, it feels good when you get those.
Toronto Raptors have now won 4 in a row.
Let's go with you. What's wrong with you? Go. Made it to you. Put my chair. Come back, Mike. Somebody took my phone and shared it. Oh, man. Survive, you ball. Yeah, ball. That's all my decoy. Canadian. Kojo! 6 guys, baby! 6 guys!
Never give up. As long as there's time on that clock, it don't matter. Anything can happen. We've been in this league long enough, and we've seen the craziest outcomes happen. So as long as we stay with it to that last second run off the clock, we feel like we got a chance.
Welcome to Phillips Arena in Atlanta. Raptors get set to take on the Atlanta Hawks. And Sherm, without question, the biggest story is DeMarre Carroll making his name in Atlanta, leaving to go to Toronto and coming back. There was a horde of media here to talk to him. He's a likable guy. Everybody loved what he brought to the franchise. And as a person, a very welcoming and likable guy too. So it's only natural that he would get the bulk of the attention tonight.
As a teammate, he does so many things for your organization, and Atlanta obviously made a decision to go in another direction. But the reality is, when you look at what he's taken out of that system, they're feeling some of that impact. But for Toronto, as he continues to adjust, we're seeing the value that he had in terms of being able to space the floor, shoot the basketball, get to the basket, move without the ball, and then the multiple positions he can defend. So there's no question DeMarre Carroll is one of those guys where a coach or an organization just loves to have on the floor and off the floor as well.
He's a leader by example. And a great story. That's the first thing I told him when we visited him and when we signed him. I love his story.
Take 2. This is DeMarre Carroll. Check out this NBA mini movie. Take 1. The biggest thing my dad always taught me and my mom always taught me is always treat people with respect, because you never know who that person might become, and you always sacrifice for the people you want to sacrifice for. Don't sacrifice for the people who don't care about you. Sacrifice for your family. And I feel like that's what I try to do every day. I try to sacrifice for my daughter and my wife, and also my immediate family, my mother, father, sister, and brother.
Right here, they may switch.
My dad and my mom did a lot of sacrificing for me. My dad was an All-American at Stanford University. He had ample opportunities to go play the game of basketball, to go overseas and, to make a good living. But he decided to go to pharmacy school because, he had so many kids. He had me and my other 2 older brothers and then my sister. So he felt like that was the best situation for our family. So he sacrificed a lot. My mom also sacrificed a lot. She was a stay-at-home mom all the way until I got into high school and she became a nurse. So they did a lot for me at an early age. And, they did a lot for me when I was younger, which made me who I am today. I think my dad, the biggest reason he came back home and he really didn't get a chance to fulfill his career like he wanted to with the game of basketball was because my older brother, he had a brain tumor at an early age, and I was younger. But, I still remember. When he had that brain tumor, it really shook my dad up and really made him come home and cherish his kids. And I think that's where it all began, man. That's when all the obstacles began in my life, when my brother first was discovered with a brain tumor. Well, I remember my brother, he always wanted to play the game of basketball. He always wanted to come out there with us, play the game of basketball, teach us, you know, and try to show us. So, you know, that's why when I'm out there on the court, I don't play for myself, I play for my big brother. I think about my brother a lot because, you know, he got his life taken away from him at an early age. And he always wanted a chance to play the game of basketball. So every time I go in the game, I draw hard. And I touch my left tattoo on my left arm and I blow a kiss to him because I still feel that he's in the game with me. So it's just a blessing, man, for me to even be out there on the court. So I want him to be out there on the court too. It was a hard death for not only me, but for my family, and it's something that we think about every day. 4th of July was funny because now that I think about it, I was working at this bar and grill called Shallow Bar and Grill, and the owner of that bar and grill told me, "Don't be going to all these parties on the 4th of July. You need to go home, rest, get ready for a good season coming." And I was like, I'm not gonna go to no party. I'm just gonna chill. So I decided to chill. And I decided to go home. And, at the time I was with my college girlfriend at that time. And, we was chilling. And then, I get a call. One of my teammates, it was like, "Hey, can you come pick us up? You had a Suburban." My uncle always told me that if you want to be a captain, you got to do captain duties. And that's, when your teammates need you to pick them up when they're drunk, you got to do that. When it's time to go somewhere, you got to tell your teammates, "Let's go." So I felt like this was a great opportunity for me to kind of become that captain. So I went to pick them up. We get there, and I actually go out, and I see a little confrontation, and I was like, "All right, come on, let's go." So I kind of just grabbed him. I was like, "All right, let's go, blah, blah, blah. Everybody, let's go." So I grab him. And they still talking, noise, pushing. Then I grab them, and I'm trying to grab them, push them back to the car, and shots fired. It was 3 shots, and I actually got hit by one in my ankle. I took a step, and then once I took that step, that's when I knew I was shot. And my life flashed before my eyes, my career flashed before my eyes. And then eventually my brother came, and he got me, and they took me, ran me to the hospital, and the blessing thing was it was a hair away from my Achilles. And if it had hit my Achilles, it probably would have ruined my career because it probably wouldn't have, healed back the way it needed to heal. So that's another blessing that I went through. That's why I never take this game for granted. This is DeMarre Carroll. Check out this NBA mini movie. Take 2. I had just got this dog, and it was a dog for the house, and it was basically a Yorkie. And I was just getting the dog, and I was gonna give it to my girlfriend, but she ended up allergic to it, so she couldn't keep it, and I felt bad, so I kept the dog. So I just started itching out the blue, and I'm like, it gotta be from this dog. I gotta be allergic to this dog. So I went for like months. We went and got allergy tests. We did all kinds of things, and when they still couldn't come up, I was basically just scratching my skin off until I was bleeding. So they was like, we got to still figure this out. So they kept figuring it out for 2 months. My skin was basically falling off because I was scratching it so bad. So eventually they was just like, let's do some liver tests. And then once they did the liver test, they found out that I had a rare liver disease. And that condition, when I first learned about it, I was devastated for about a week. I didn't want to leave my room, but at the end of the day, I realized that, I still can be a role model. I still can touch another person's life, and I still can play the game of basketball with this condition. So I felt like it was best for me to, still pursue my career and still be who I am, and that's DeMarre Carroll. I remember when I was in practice and I was just running around, grabbing every rebound, getting every loose ball, doing all the dirty work. And then at that time, I had broke my pinky. And I didn't know my pinky was broken. I just thought it was jammed real bad, but I was out there still grabbing every rebound. I couldn't shoot, so I was just doing all the little things, diving on the floor, taking charges with a broke pinky through the whole practice. And my uncle came up to me and he said, "You playing like a junkyard dog." And I was like, "Junkyard dog? Don't call me a junkyard dog," because I always thought it was, not a name that I felt. Every kid don't want to be a junkyard dog. They want to be one of those guys that can score the ball and those types of things. And he was like, don't never take away from who you are. And who you are is the junkyard dog, a blue-collar guy. You're out here playing with a broke pinky. You're doing all the little things. That's what junkyard dogs do. That's how the name came about. And he always told me that name was going to stick with me, and I just got to keep it going, and it's going to take me very far. I never believed him, but to this day, that name been sticking with me.
With the 27th pick in the 2009 NBA Draft, the Memphis Grizzlies select DeMarre Carroll from the University of Missouri.
Well, this is a great opportunity for me, to be able to come here and be a part of the Memphis community is a blessing and, a lifelong dream. I had a lot of downs and I had ups in Memphis. I was behind Rudy Gay. When I first got there, Zach Randolph actually got hurt. So the coach at the time, Lionel Hollis, threw me at the 4. So I was already behind the 8 ball. Everybody kept saying that I was a tweener. They didn't know what position I was. But going against guys like Kevin Garnett in his prime and, other guys like LaMarcus Aldridge and Chris Bosh at their prime, I was a little defeated at that time. So, I ended up going back to the bench, not playing, going to the D-League for a couple of games. Then after that, I never got another shot, never got another opportunity. And I felt like the reason that I wasn't on the court because I wasn't being a junkyard dog. I wasn't being who I am. I was devastated. I was like, here we go again, another obstacle in my life that I have to endure. And I can't let this make people think that this is DeMarre Carroll. So I got traded to Houston. And then when I went to Houston, that's when I met Kyle Lowry and Luis Scola. And I was there about half of the season. And I got waived from there. It was definitely a struggle. But then I ended up going to Denver. And I had an opportunity to sign either with Denver or Utah. But I ended up signing with Denver because I felt like that was the best fit for me. And Masai was at the time the GM. And he was like, you'll have a great opportunity here. So I went there, training camp. And then the big trade came when they had traded for like Rudy Fernandez, Gallinari, Corey Brewer. So it became a numbers game. And Masai told me that, this trade, unfortunately, kind of put you on the outside looking in. So at that time, my agent asked Masai, just waive him and we'll figure out something else. So when he waived me, Kevin O'Connor, the GM at Utah, came to my agent, and he was like, bring him in. I'm not gonna say he's gonna play right off the bat, but we'll like to have him here. So I sat behind the bench for 18 to 20 games, and we was in San Antonio, and like 3 people got hurt. And then Coach Ty Corbin, he looked at the end of the bench, and it was so thin, I was the last person, and he was like, I guess you can come on, DeMarre, let's go in there. And I remember like yesterday, I got the chills, and I was like, this is my opportunity. This is my opportunity to show everybody who I am.
Harris goes inside, kicking out. DeMarre wants 3. Got it. Carroll, who's also making an impact, knocks down the jumper here. Carroll, nice game off the bench once more. Got it. Buries the 3.
He's really played well here in the second half. How come this kid hasn't been in the ball game before?
DeMarre Carroll saying, hey, you're going to run away from me, I'll make you pay.
I'm just wondering if he can really shoot it like that. DeMarre Carroll's done a great job tonight.
Yeah.
Really on both ends of the floor, being a huge spark for the team.
Carroll is having a career night. He's doubled his career best with 14 points here tonight. His previous best was 7.
We didn't win the game, but I knew then I made a mark for who I am. And at that time, Coach Mike Budenholzer, he was the assistant coach for San Antonio. So, to fast forward, I was in Utah playing off and on sporadically for the next year or two. And then when I became a free agent, Mike Budenholzer brought me in and said he remembered that time when I was behind the bench and I hadn't played in the NBA at all, and I still came out there and I played like it was my last game. He has a big impact. He's the one coach that came to my wedding. So that just shows you how personal me and Coach Bud is. We to this day we still talk. And we understand it's a business, and he put me in the best situation for me to succeed. He brought me there. He never told me I was going to start. He told me I was going to have to earn it, and I earned it, and I earned his trust. And we had a remarkable year last year when we won 60 games, and he always told me that the best is yet to come. So Coach Bud has been he's been very big for my career. And without Coach Bud, I don't even think I'd be sitting here. So without Coach Bud or my uncle, Mike Anderson, I wouldn't be sitting here. I feel like those two guys played a big part as coaches in my life.
Carroll with it. He's yet to connect. 0-4 from the floor, 0-3 from downtown. Taking on his former team. Here's DeMarre right on the inside. An excellent job out on the court at that 4-5 spot for Dwayne Casey. Clock is down. Lowry up at the rim. The Guerra slam dunk. How about this? A 10-point advantage. Say it with me, Jack. Baby. What an effort tonight by this Raptor team. And the bench down 17. Lowry taking over in the fourth. 31-point performance. Lowry wasn't good. He was outstanding here tonight.
I think just my will, my determination. You can't be a junkyard dog if you don't have no type of grit and grind in you. And I feel like that's what I have. I have a lot of determination.
What's going on? How y'all?
Right now, with the Carroll Family Foundation, my foundation, I visit a lot of hospitals, and I see little kids, who's 5 and 4, and, they're going through way worse things than I'm going through. So it just makes me realize that there's a lot of people out there who can have it way worse than you have it. So you can't get down on yourself. And you might be able to touch one person's life. You can touch one person's life out of this whole world, you done your job. And I feel like that's what makes me keep going every day, because I look at these kids and I look at all these people who have it way worse than I do. I just want to be an influence on maybe one person's life.